So yesterday I was ended up being super busy all day, and so I didn't ever. There was more things I wanted to say yesterday, but anyways, it didn't work out. I'll have to try and catch up with all the stuff I wanted to talk about. But right now it's so crazy with this weather. Oh my gosh, there is it's just so eerie and it's so cold, and they blame it on the smoke because it covers the sun, and then it's just smoke everywhere. It's kind of funny though, like sometimes you can really, really smell it. Like you just open the door and it's like so strong a smell. It smells different right now. It's weird. But it's so hard because it's such a controlled environment. Everything is so controlled and so pretend. Everything's fake because someone's, it's just weird. And, one thing too is, there's so much stuff going on, and the news are definitely not saying it. So it's just like you can feel this tension over like what's going to happen next. We know for sure that we're headed to the age of Aquarius. We know for sure that we're changing vibration, we're moving up, and then this denser, heavy, evil kind of energy, how we perceive it as being evil, that it can't move up. It's to move up, it's more of a positive thing. And even because you have to have the positive and the negative, right? And even for a negative energy, somebody who brings that to the planet, because something that I understood a while back, and maybe somebody else has heard other things. This is the kind of stuff that's fun to discuss. I think like trying to understand it all. But this person had told me that what the hell was I gonna say? Something about the people, how they, I can't remember. It will come back to me. Maybe tomorrow it'll come back to me. No, it'll come back. It just, may not come back right now. But the whole thing with the energy, the negative. So there's some souls that come. Okay, so we have to have, the yin and yang. There has to be balance, right? We have to always have that balance. Like if you got to come to life in the understanding of this as being energy. So that's what I talk about, is trying to explain more on that level. And the energy is your essence, your soul. That part of you, that little light, that source inside of you is together what creates the source of all things, because that's how we are all connected. We all are a little piece of God, because we are God having experience, so it can expand itself. And it's a constant motion, constant creation. And we are that of which is. And we are what we are, that creation. And in the experience as a soul, as God wants to do, is have experience, because it is expansive. Just think about like how many things you hear somebody talk about, and it's just like, I don't get it. You go home, you tell your, I just don't get it, whatever, with that person. And then whatever, a couple years ago, all of a sudden you find yourself in the exact same experience, and it comes back to you like, oh my gosh, when they were talking about it, I was judging them, and now here I am. And you start seeing it like, now I understand why they did what they did. It makes more sense now, because now I'm going through the experience. I have some kind of context. So that is how a soul is constantly going through this expansion, because there is more and more and more and more to realize. So all people are included. All people are loved equally, because there's an understanding of all people, and all souls are going through this ever expansive process to It is, we come up with all sorts of words to reach enlightenment, to reach, the Shangri-La or whatever, to reach, like, there's a point that we're trying to get to, but that isn't what is really there. There isn't like so many people just live their life waiting to get to heaven. You're always waiting in life for this other thing. It's about learning to be living your life. It's about being in those moments and to grow and to have understanding of yourself. And when I start bouncing all over the place, when the soul is expanding, as the universe is expanding, because it's all part of God. It's kind of like you just gotta see. I kind of see it as like color, and like I've said before, I see a lot of the stuff, like the spider web really represents to me a lot about the universe. And to me, I see everything as kind of how, when I learned about how the body works, that I kind of see that that's how it all works. Like, we are kind of our own thought. We are that instantaneous little cell process that happens to make the next thing happen. And it's all of this energetic kind of process, how a current has to flow. And so you have to have that positive and negative, because you have to have that balance. So some souls, as to what I'm understanding, and I've circled back, is that they, that's their choice, is to play that part. And that is where, we get in this thing of thinking of them as demons and devils and stuff like that. But without them, how would we know what the positive is? Because we have to have this going back and forth. We have to go through each thing, and it is this flow. If you could just get more into the flow of what happens in life and not constantly trying to fight it, and to understand you can't make a mistake. You are just here playing out something that you have already decided, because this is just like a little avatar. This is just like a little, a video game, It's kind of trippy too, because I kind of get these images of the video game in being like Westworld, when all of a sudden the consciousness of the beings becomes like, hey, wait a minute, didn't I do this before? Hey, wait, what's going on? I think I remember this, I remember that. And that is what is happening to consciousness in a human form, that they are going through that expansion, that it's like an elevation. And but that denser energy, they are going through experience, and they are causing things to reach balance. It brings balance to things. But this energy that we're dealing with right now, when this ascension happens, this ascension is to raise the vibration. This heavier energy, it won't go to, there's like a splitting, kind of, I think that's where this thing about the splitting of two earths and stuff, because there's a splitting of this energy. And I'm not really sure how. I mean, there would always be some type of negative that would develop, right? Because no matter what, something would not be perfectly right for somebody. So then you redevelop what is negative. But, so when we go into this new age, and it is all about abundance and love and stuff like that, and we're raising up our, how we treat each other, how we feel about ourselves, how we spend our time, all of this stuff, at some point, there would be something that would be that negative kind of, where you would have to find that balance, right? It would only make sense, because everything is got that. But I would think it is a higher balance. You know what I mean? Like this energy here is very controlling. It's just so much about greed, so much to just, you would harm anybody just to have a moment of fame or power or something. There's so much like You know, if you are, you know, coming from a higher vibration way of looking at things, it's, you know, it's very dirty, nasty energy. And there's so many people that just feed into it. And it is such a lack of integrity. And it's not just like these souls are bad. I mean, there's a lot of bad ones, you know, I guess depends on how evil, but the whole thing is that there is no bad or good. It is just this, it's the balance, what has to be. You know, like sometimes when you have something and you got to weigh it and it already has a set balance, a counterweight, that is, you know, that's why you have to have the negative. So we can't just be like, you know, negative is, you know, they're evil, they're devils, they're the worst and stuff like that. Because we have to recognize there has to be that counterweight. So those souls are playing a part. They're doing their role, and it's a choice. And I think that it becomes a kind of stagnant. Like there's certain things they can't move up for experience, right? So they're kind of, and I don't know, I would think that there's ways to get out of that. Like a soul's going to figure everything out. Because you got to remember, the soul is a piece of God, and God is almighty and powerful. When it, you know, the goal, that is the energy of all things, is what we perceive God to be. That's what God actually is. We perceive God to be, you know, all powerful and have control and stuff like that. But He's actually our part, that we are control. Like we are given a certain control, the free will to make decisions. So yeah, and people have a choice to go into dark places or not. I'm sure in past lives, like I was in some dark places. You go into some dark situations. That's how you learn what's right and wrong. That's how you start to really understand about how things work and about your own being. And you know, I talk about it all the time. This whole thing is about this conscious awareness and expansion. And so it is always, you know, opening and moving further. It is just that we're so stuck on this three-dimensional thinking, and, you know, like death is real, and we're so caught up in this, you know, that this could be the only reality because there's matter and stuff like that. But that is that's the illusion. That's where we're stuck in the illusion, because it is only as real as you make it. If you just focus on the, and you can make that as painful of an experience as you need to make it. And you know, there's a lot of souls that's, you know, they come and they take their job serious and they're coming to learn and stuff like that. And you know, you need to be in the experience. You need to also go through the experience. But I just think that we need to have that counterbalance of knowing, like, nothing can go wrong. Nothing will ever go wrong. Everything is playing out the way it's supposed to play out. And even when things hurt, once you get to the other side, you see like how much you learned, how much you changed. And that can be as slow a process as you make it, as long as, you know, because your soul, you can't do anything wrong. Your soul is playing it out the way it's going to play out, because it's already written. It's already written. This is like a show. Our higher selves, our beings, the watchers, they are watching as it plays out. Like we are the thought, we are the dream as it plays out. But we are in it and we think it's real. Just like in a video game, you know, they're running around shooting and stuff. Well, if all of a sudden they turned around and they said, hey, wait a minute, I don't want to shoot this person. And they, you know, their consciousness became in control. You know, they kind of show that in some movies lately about consciousness being able to take over the airwaves and stuff. And that's why I've even said that some of the stuff I say is just to kind of get it out over the airwaves, because it's a real thing. Like there is an energy that is around us that's doing everything all the time. And you're tapping into energy based on how you feel about yourself, what story you're trying to complete, what you're trying to understand and create. And that's why this is important for the waking up, so you know what it is you're really doing. You know, this whole thing of people having this illusion about death and illusion about what happens in death and stuff like that, it really holds back a lot of people. And in, you know, limiting their experiences, even though it's to play out, it's an awareness that we need to you know, learn, because of like the emotional drain that sometimes we go through when we're going through experiences. And if we could step back and we could experience it and feel the pain, go through the stuff, but still know, you know, this is just, it's just, it's like a test. It's like reading a book and getting the test so that you see, like, you know, can I really do this? Does this really work out? Or how does it, you know what I mean? There's a lot of learning to go through the incarnation, to go through and play it out, you know. There's, you know, because you could think like, well, why would souls go and do this? Why would they put themselves through this? Instead of just sitting up and, you know, playing board games, that's all they have to do. Why would they go down here and feel pain? But when you're up there, then you know that that's real. You know this isn't real. You know, is like the same thing for a little kid if they keep crying because like there's a monster under my bed or something. And you know it's not real. It's completely real to them. And you could tell them all day long. You know, they have to kind of grow out of that. And that's this same thing kind of with the souls. They have to grow into this conscious understanding of themselves. And, you know, and you do it over and over and over. It's not like you do this one time and then, you know, everybody's got this idea, oh, you win, then you go to heaven, and then you just in heaven. Well, what do you think it goes on in heaven, if you want to call the afterlife heaven? You know, it is, you can go out and just, you know, ride around and look at mountains and stuff like that, but you know, at some point you want to also expand and learn and stuff. You want to go out and experience, and you know that it's not going to hurt you or be real. You know you're going to go through this process of not remembering, and it's the process of growing and remembering and expanding yourself. That right now what's going on, I mean, it's all different through different times, but during this time of ascension, that is what it is about. It is like you just blossoming, just realizing who you are, and to really is all about this sovereign being, you know, to realize that you're not here to follow other people's rules. You're here to understand what you're here to understand. You're here to experience what you're here to experience. And you're here to be free. And so, you know, that's just what is, that is just really what's important. And this is all about moving into that and realizing these things. And I just think it's really important for people to really realize about what a soul really is. And because I think there's just constantly a fairy tale being sold to us. So also I wanted to talk some more about relationships, because that just seems like to be a really, really a big thing that people are going through. So we'll be right back.